Wildfire smoke and the ensuing terrible air quality has become more and more of a problem these days, and as a runner, I have definitely felt the intensity of this problem increasing, especially in the last couple of years. Last night, I was planning to run a long run this morning, but as I stepped outside, I just noticed this haze, this really thick haze, and then the slight smell of burning. So I checked the AQI index, and lo and behold, where I am now, there is a whopping index of 156 AQI, which is extraordinarily bad. I think PM 2.5 levels are above 50. I've been walking around now, and I actually, this could be placebo, but I feel a little woozy, dizzy. I mean, not like that bad, but I definitely feel off.
All the fumes are making me dizzy.
Definitely feels like I shouldn't be outside for very long. And so today my plans have changed. I am headed to the treadmill. Probably not going to do that long of a run. Unfortunately, not the greatest situation, but a lot of what running is for me is being adaptable. And so today I will have to adapt to the air quality. I'll also give you some tips from the perspective of a high mileage runner on when you should decide the risk is really too high to be running outdoors and you should stick to indoor running instead. Just finished my treadmill run, got 9.7 miles in, a little bit more than I expected. Overall, I think it was a good move because stepping outside of that gym just now felt that wave of bad air quality. The sky is definitely still very hazy. I think the smell of smoke has gone down just a little, which is definitely good and positive. But yeah, I didn't think that air quality was something I would have to worry about when I moved to this pretty rural part of New England, USA. So if you're also a runner who is concerned sometimes about air quality where you live, here are some tips from me. I'm no expert on this authority, but I am a runner who runs a lot and who does value my lungs not being decimated from running in pure, or rather unpure, air quality. The first thing I learned today when doing some research on air quality was Purple Air. It's a website that basically crowdsources sharing air quality data information. People can buy these devices to put up near their homes or in other locations, and that aggregates together to build a map of air quality at these various spots. And so I saw like a spot maybe half a mile away from me was reading 147 when I was leaving the door. Again, I am not an expert on this, but based on the research I've read, if it's 70 or below, I will go for a run. If it's like between 50 and 75, 80, I might run a bit slower. 80 and above, I'm pretty wary. I think I'll try to go to a shaded and forested area. 100 and above, or I guess 80 and above, I am very less prone to wanting to run at all, and I will definitely prefer the treadmill. Something I was curious about was I thought that indoor air quality sometimes was just as bad as the outdoors because a lot of buildings circulate air from outside, and that's something I asked ChatGPT, and it gave me an interesting answer, which of course I don't know if it's right or not because you can never trust fully AI, but I think this is one of the places where it probably has more expertise than I do. It said that a lot of places actually just circulate the air inside, and you have these giant buildings that are blocking particles from getting inside. Like particles cannot go through brick. And so even if some of those particles like PM 2.5 get inside, it is still going to be less so than the amount of particles, the density of particles outside. That's what I'm led to believe. Again, definitely want to reiterate, I am not a scientist and I am not an air quality expert. But I have done some research and I'm hoping that what I've said so far is accurate. I will say something that is kind of unfortunate, especially for me because I want to run high mileage and I want to run that primarily outside, is when air quality is bad for a stretch of days because, you know, those wildfires don't just stop in one day. And if the weather pattern basically doesn't change, smoke just keeps coming from either Canada or California, let's say. And then if it's like a long stretch of days where now I'm relegated to the treadmill for like 3 or 4 days on end, that can become quite demoralizing, I think. And so I guess to manage that, I try to go swim, try to switch up the cardio, cross train, and I will just like find the optimal times throughout the day, which are usually in the morning and at night. I think I read that PM 2.5 peaks in the noon, sort of midday time frame, and just minimize as much as I can how that PM 2.5 is getting to me. I skimmed a science article some time back that really kind of changed my perspective on air quality and the importance it has on mental well-being, physical well-being, good health. Like the ability to breathe. Breathing is just such a fundamental human need. And I think we take for granted that the air outside is breathable, because now, especially in a time where we're getting reports that the air quality is not quite that breathable outside, it just makes you really think. And yeah, I think that study in particular just mentioned something about actual cognitive decline on the orders of tens of percents, maybe even 50%, maybe more, when you were subjected to really poor air quality, particulate matter in the air, things of that nature. And yeah, since then, I have not really taken that lightly. I do really keep an eye out, or try to keep an eye out for when the air quality gets bad. Now, if you're a runner who's also concerned about air quality and finds themselves juggling their running schedules around what the AQI is, let me know. Let me know what your tips are. Please share the knowledge in the comments. And hopefully, we can find a way in this world where the climate in lots of places is getting worse and air quality is becoming more of a concern. Hopefully we can find a way to navigate that while running a lot of miles and having fun while running.